3 of the Eastern Conference Finals goes to the Toronto Raptors as they stress us out of sweating the entire game as the Raptors pull away with the 118-112 victory in double overtime to win Game 3 and to more or less keep our hopes alive here in the NBA playoffs in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Milwaukee Bucks. What a game! A week ago today, we were sitting here talking about the shot from Kawhi Leonard against the 76ers to move on to this series against the Milwaukee Bucks. Games 1 and 2 were not very good. You could have won Game 1. You don't. Game 2, you get absolutely throttled. Today, the Raptors played the style of basketball that they have to play to win this series. Excuse me. And that is hard, drive to the basket, get the contact, play hard defense, and just win. Like, this team today grinded, fought, and just played one heck of a ball game. Pascal Siakam, incredible. Kawhi Leonard, dynamite as always, even though he's probably hurting. Lowry was good. Marc Gasol started the game fantastically. And coming into the ballgame, even after Game 2, we're all saying we need changes. We're hearing start Ibaka over Marc Gasol. We're hearing start Powell over Danny Green. The Powell for Danny Green talk I do agree about. But Nick Nurse coming into the game says, yeah, there's going to be changes. So we assumed that he was going to change something in the starting lineup. That didn't happen. You see the same starters, Lowry, Danny Green, Kawhi Leonard, Siakam, and Marc Gasol. But Marc Gasol, guys, out of the gate was spectacular. Knocking down his threes, playing hard defense, and the Raptors at one point early on had a 13-5 lead. They're feeling great. And Marc Gasol, a big integral part to that play. Now, what Nick Nurse did, he did say there was going to be changes. He didn't say where. Norman Powell comes into the game early, and boy, oh boy, playoff Powell is something else. He had an incredible ball game today. He played 30 minutes. He had 19 points, 7 of 13 shooting, 3 of 5 from 3. He had a steal. He was 2 of 2 from the line. Where is he here? He also had 4 rebounds and 3 assists. Norman Powell was incredible for the Toronto Raptors today. Now, in the first quarter, the Raptors play another great first quarter. We saw it in Game 1. You now see it in Game 3. Raps up 9 after the first quarter. Great job there. Bucks find their offense, though, in the second quarter. However, the Raptors do stay with them, but the Raps are still -2 after the second quarter, so it's a 7-point game at halftime. You still got the lead. You still got a 7-point lead at the half, but we've seen this before. We've seen this in Game 1. The third quarter, the Raptors offense shrivels up and we see absolutely nothing going on with this team. We're like, oh my God, what is happening? Bucks are +5 in the third quarter, and just like that, it is a 2-point game heading into the fourth quarter. And in that fourth quarter, the Raptors have a 2-point lead. I'm going to fast forward all the way. Actually, you know what? Let's go to the 6-minute mark where Kyle Lowry fouls out. And it's like a 4-point game or whatnot. This is not the time for Kyle Lowry to foul out. This is not the time for that. A few minutes later, Norman Powell gets called and he fouls out. On an awful call, Brook Lopez shoves him right into Eric Bledsoe. Therefore, Powell gets the call. That makes sense. He's gone from the game. And so, guys, Lowry had 11 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists on 4 of 7 shooting. He was 3 of 6 from 3, had a steal, plus 15 on the floor when he got his 6th foul. Big loss for the Toronto Raptors. And like I said, when Norman Powell left the game, we already talked about his statistics. He was great for the Raptors. This does not look too good. You've lost 2 of your guys, your main guy in Kyle Lowry, and the guy that has driven a lot of the offense over today's game, and one of the only bright spots in Game 2. You lost both of them. And the Raptors fight, and they have a 2-point lead in about 7 seconds to go, or what? No, maybe, was it 7 seconds? Anyway, something like that. And Pascal Siakam at the line. All he needs to do is drain a couple. Even if he drains 1, they need a 3 to tie, but we want to see it. He misses both. Chris Middleton comes down. Drives, Fred VanVleet, actually a pretty good contest. He misses the initial shot, taps in the second one, and we're tied. And with 2.2 on the clock, Kawhi Leonard has a chance to win it, misses it, and we go to overtime. And in overtime, some more craziness happens. The Raptors actually, the fourth quarter was 21-19, if you guys couldn't do the math, in favor of the Milwaukee Bucks. So that goes into overtime. It is tied, and I'm stressed out. Going into overtime, you don't have Lowry, you don't have Norman Powell. This is not looking good for the Toronto Raptors. And they have all their guys. But the thing I looked at, actually, I don't know if it happened yet. I'm just going to leave it for a second. And in overtime, Fred VanVleet made a big shot there in the fourth quarter, even though he was 0 of 8 shooting. The first shot made for the Toronto Raptors in overtime, I think it was, Danny Green. He was 0 of 8 before that shot. The thing about Danny Green is that he can miss 10 shots in a row. You put him in a big shot situation like this, he makes that shot. He got the game winner against Orlando in Orlando earlier in the season. He's a dynamite player. He's an amazing defender. We just want to see him to start shoot the threes consistently. That's what we want to see from Danny. He can be that X factor if they can do so. And, however, first overtime doesn't solve anything. Score was 7 apiece. We go to double overtime. I mean, incredible stuff happens. On the first play of overtime, great stop by the Raptors. Next stop down the floor, Pascal goes right at Giannis, and that's a foul on Giannis. He's gone from the game. That's his 6th foul. And going into the double overtime, I looked at the stats. I'm like, oh, Giannis and Middleton both have 5. This could be interesting. But then I was also thinking, well, the NBA is the NBA, and we're the Toronto Raptors, so they probably won't foul out. And then, lo and behold, Giannis fouls out. And I'm like, Raptor fans, Raptor players, this is your time. The Greek Freak is off the floor. Make it happen. And Kawhi Leonard took over. The amazing steal. I think it was off of Bledsoe. And then he tips it away from Brogdon. Comes down and throws it down. Beautiful job there. Then I think Danny Green got a steal. Kicks it up to Kawhi. 2-on-1. I sound like a hockey fan here. I am, but you know what I'm saying. And Kawhi and Siakam running the floor. Two of the great guys that run on the floor. Mirotic doesn't know who the heck to guard, so he sends it in the middle. Kawhi throws it down. Big jam by Kawhi. He comes up laboring, and I'm like, oh, no. This is not going to happen. Sits on the bench and takes a breather, and we're like, okay. We got to relax. I actually think the steal from Brogdon and Bledsoe, which led to the score, I think actually happened after he came back from that little injury scare from the Raptors. And then in the dying seconds, you need a big shot from Kawhi. Gets inside with Brogdon on him, and he backs him down. A nice little, off-the-board shot, and in, and the Raptors come away with the 118-112 victory in double overtime. Whew. I was sweating watching this game. I'm sweating right now. Oh, my goodness. What a game by the Raptors. Now, we're going to hear all the excuses. We're going to hear, well, Giannis wasn't there in double overtime. Yeah, we didn't have Lowry or Norman Powell for the last 6 minutes. Well, I don't know when Powell fouled out, but Lowry was one guy to go. That started in the 6-minute mark of the fourth quarter. Giannis was there for the final 6 minutes and the first overtime. He leaves. The Raptors get the victory. Beautiful job of the Raptors. They win that second overtime 15-9. They scored 15 points in that 5-minute overtime. Big job by the Toronto Raptors. Come away with the victory. And it wasn't for lack of shooting good. It really wasn't. The Raptors shoot 39% from the field. However, they knocked down their threes. They made 17 threes. Only shot 38%, but that's, again, the Bucks only made 14. You made 3 more threes. They shot 32% from 3. Free throw line, they were at the line 7 more times than the Raptors. We've kind of gotten used to that. Rebounding was +8 in favor of the Bucks. Again, we've gotten used to seeing that. The offensive glass, 13-8 in favor of Milwaukee. That was a problem, and it got under my skin quite often watching this game. But the assist for the Toronto Raptors was incredible in the first half. The Raptors had 17 assists at halftime. They were moving the ball. They were making their shots. They were feeling good. And then in the second half, it just got stuck. They finished with 28. I mean, 28's a good number. That means you had 11 assists in the second half and 2 overtimes. Move the ball, fellas. Play good defense. You're going to win these. We're going to win some of these games. All right? And steals were 14-11 in favor of the Bucks. Blocks were 10-5 in favor of the Raptors. Look at this. The Bucks in game 2 turned the ball over 6 times. The Raptors defense today made the Bucks turn it over 20 times. Again, defense leading to offense. What were the points of turnovers? Well, the Raptors were in favor of that 21-16. You know what I mean, guys? I mean, look, the Raptors are a team that's maybe not going to shoot the ball like crazy good on a night-to-night basis. We've kind of learned that. But when it comes to a game like today, where you hold the Bucks under 40% shooting, and yeah, the Raptors, are kind of in that range as well, that's playing to the Raptors' advantage. The fact that the Raptors, as a defensive team, are able to do what they did, it's incredible. And Pascal Siakam, we talked about it in the last 2 videos of really not showing up whatsoever. He had 25 points, 11 rebounds, 9 of 18 shooting, 5 of 9 from the free throw line, 2 of 5 from 3. He gets 3 steals. He gets a block in the game, and that block was against Brook Lopez in double overtime. A huge denial from Pascal Siakam. And the key to P. Skilly doing what he did today was using his body, drive to the basket. None of this settling for threes garbage. That's not his game. His game is getting into the paint and punishing guys like Giannis. And look what that did today. It made Giannis foul out. Kawhi did his thing, 36 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, 11-25 shooting, 12 of 13 from the free throw line, 2 of 4 from 3. He gets a couple steals. He gets a block in the game, plus 10 on the floor. Great job. Gasol with a big night. Plays 45 minutes, 16 points, 12 rebounds, 7 assists, 5 of 10 shooting, 4 of 8 from 3, 2 of 2 from the line, 1 steal, 5 blocks for Marc Gasol. Big night for the big Spaniard. Marc Gasol was incredible there today for the Raptors. We already talked about Kyle Lowry and Danny Green and Van Vliet struggles. And Norman Powell. Ibaka struggled in his limited time. Shot 2 of 9 in his 14 minutes. Had 5.6 boards. Again, people want to start over against Marc Gasol. Look, do you want to start him in Game 4 over Marc Gasol? Maybe not so much. Speaking of Game 4. The tip-off for in Game 4, guys, goes on Tuesday night, 8:30 tip-off at Scotiabank Arena. Now, I know this series is not even... Look, just because we won a game, Raptor fans, doesn't mean we're going all the way. We're still trailing 2-1 in the series. And what this Raptor team did to themselves, you have... If you want to move on to to the NBA Finals, you have to win 1 in Milwaukee. And even if you do that, you have to win all your games at home. So if you're the Toronto Raptors, you don't look towards what the next few games have in store. You look to Game 4 on Tuesday night at Scotiabank Arena. You win that game, we're right back where we started again. It's a best of 3 now. The Raptors, look, they played a hard game today, and if this team can play like they did tonight in Game 4, they got a chance of winning that game too. If this Raptor team can play hard, play physical, be tough, you just made the MVP foul out. You made the MVP with all credits to the fans. I don't know really if the fans did it or if it was because he made it sound like, well, the ball slipped out of my hands, but shot an air ball from the free throw line. MVP candidate shot an air ball from the free throw. You don't see that too often. But again, I'm not going to blame Giannis. He's still a freak. He's still an amazing player, and that's just that. So for the Raptors, for the Raptor fans, you enjoy this victory. You let this all sink in. The Raptors won this game today, and they're not going to get swept. And that was, I think, the scare for every single Raptor fan is like, we just had that craziness against Philly. You better not get swept in this series. Now that you won this game, I think a lot of our minds turn to let's not get swept to let's have an even series going back to Milwaukee. Look, the Raptors are no scrub team. They've made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. They won a game against the Milwaukee Bucks. Milwaukee going into this game had won 6 straight. For the Toronto Raptors, you got to take whatever you did today. They're obviously going to look at film. They're going to have practice tomorrow. And this team has to come out in Game 4 exactly the way they came out today. Guns a-blazing. And for goodness sakes, I love what Nick Nurse did with Norman Powell. Bring him in early off the bench. Bring that energy. And that's exactly what happened. I think Powell had like 10 points in the first 5 minutes that he played. The defensive intensity for Norman Powell was incredible. He was making his shots. He was a great defender. That's what this guy is. And we have not seen it for a while. Playoff Powell is back, baby. We haven't seen him since that Indiana series many years ago. But he's back. All right, so you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. You guys enjoyed this video, and you guys enjoyed the heck out of today's ball game. Smack that like button. I do appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button if you guys have not already. Comment down below your thoughts on the game, your MVP from today's game. Is it P. Skills? Is it the Claw? Is it the Spaniard, Marc Gasol? Would you give it to Norman Powell off the bench? Who's your MVP in today's game? And what are your thoughts ahead of Game 4 on Tuesday night? You guys can probably see this. Look at that. You see Drake, by the way, he was sweating up a storm. I mean, that was crazy watching him freak out and sweat buckets watching this game, as probably every Raptor fan was doing so as well. But, guys, I want to hear your thoughts on this game, this video, any other aspects that I missed from this game that you guys want to talk about, because it's a 16-minute video. I could probably go on for about half an hour, but I mean, gotta cut it short at some point. If you guys have anything else you want to talk about when it comes to this video, go right ahead. And my goodness, Evan and I will talk to you guys podcast edition on Tuesday afternoon, and we'll be able to preview for you guys Game 4 at Scotiabank Arena. We'll be talking about that. All right, so the links are in the description for you guys for the podcast channel and for the podcast itself on iTunes. Twitter is also down below. Follow up, send me a DM, guys. Do all that great stuff. And I will talk to you guys Jays edition. I know most of you guys don't really care about the Jays right now, and I don't blame you. But for all you Blue Jay fans out there, tip of the cap to you that you're still around. They welcome in the Boston Red Sox for a 4-game set. Yippee. Starting tomorrow afternoon, 1:07 first pitch at Rogers Center. David Price on the mound for the Red Sox. Edwin Jackson for the Blue Jays. The Jays look to start that 4-game, home series against the Sox on the good note. Like I said, Price and Edwin Jackson, 1:07 first pitch at Rogers Center. And as for the Toronto Raptors, guys, as we've said many, many times, Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals between the Bucks and Raptors goes on Tuesday, 8:30 tip-off at Scotiabank Arena. Raptor fans, we talked about today being a must-win game. But I think now that we look towards Game 4, it's kind of a must-win game. You win that game, you're still not in an elimination game in Game 5. You lose. The only way you move on to the finals is if you beat the Bucks twice in Milwaukee and win at home. You have to win 3 straight. Game 4, Tuesday, 8:30 tip-off. Raptors look to even up the series to 2 games apiece going back to Milwaukee. It's going to be a big game. Ruckus crowd at Scotiabank Arena just like today. And you heard Charles Barkley before the game say the Raptors will win tonight, and he was correct. The Raptors won this one, 8:30 tip-off there on Tuesday night. Game 4 at Scotiabank Arena. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys are jacked up for Game 4, and I will talk to you guys then.